Hello and welcome to the channel. You may recognize me, maybe from my past ventures or from crossing paths somewhere out there in the world. Then again, maybe you don't. So let me introduce myself. I've gone by many names. DJ Stutters with 3 T's, Little Smitty, even Sherlock Holmes when I was younger. But today, I'm coming to you just as another person. For those who have never heard of me before, my name is Robert, or Voidkeeper if you prefer. I'm here to tell you the story of a woman who's been through more than most people can ever imagine. Despite everything that's been thrown her way, she's standing tall, she's still fighting, and more importantly, she's still loving. For many years of my life, I spent my time around a woman unlike any other. A presence that was both familiar and elusive, learning from her, watching her navigate life's sharp edges. I found myself inspired in ways words could barely capture. There was a strength in her silence, resilience in her every movement, even when her body ached or the world seemed stacked against her. This is the tale about the unfolding of someone's life through the haze of hardship and the quiet courage that's within. So, I remember the first time I truly noticed her, though not in a flashy, dramatic way. It was subtle, like the way light filters through thick trees on a misty morning. She wasn't standing in the spotlight, she was living in the shadows, holding herself together with threads that only someone who has faced real battle knows about. She carried decades of survival, stories of pain, of losing and finding herself in the smallest moments. Our paths crossed in a way that was both mundane and extraordinary. It wasn't just about being in the same places what seemed like all the time. It was more about witnessing how she moved through the world, how she faced her demons while still reaching for something better. You might say she was my teacher, though she never really set out to be. The lessons came quietly, in shared silences, in the steady way she kept moving forward, even when everything else threatened to fall apart. This woman is more than the sum of her struggles. She is an artist and a warrior in her own right. The art she creates isn't just on canvas, it is etched into her very being, a reflection of pain transformed into beauty. Her hands, though worn, tell stories words cannot. And behind those eyes, there's a fire that refuses to be extinguished, even when life dealt and is still dealing its harshest blows. I won't rush into giving you all the pieces just yet. Part of what makes this story worth telling is the slow reveal, like the gradual pulling back of a curtain so you can see the depth and complexity beneath. But one thing is clear. This journey is about two lives intertwined, walking paths both broken and hopeful, searching for freedom and peace in a world that too often forgets about people like her. So, as you listen, I invite you to look beyond the surface. There's mystery there, yes, but also a quiet power in not knowing everything right away. Because sometimes the most compelling stories are those that unfold like layered cakes, each slice revealing something new, something unexpected, and something deeply human. With that, let's take the first steps into this long, winding adventure together.
Stories carved from concrete and root, tracks rusting, sidewalks splitting, weeds rising, proof that nothing stays buried forever. From alleys and overpasses where hope flickers faint, to dawn-lit forests where breath turns to mist and fears fall silent. Hands roughened by city work and wilderness survival alike, shoulders burdened by memories, freed by the miles walked beyond them. This is a testament to grit, to wandering without apology, to building shelter from ruins. A journey forged for one woman's right to live as she was never allowed to before. A journey for every soul that refuses to bow to the grind. Voidkeeper Adventures, a life unhidden, a path unbeaten. Walk it with us.
She wasn't always this quiet force, though. There was a time when the world tried to break her in ways that would have shattered most. Those years filled with loss, confusion, and endless struggle, They weren't just scars to hide, but the very fabric of who she became. And while most would have given up, she chose to keep moving forward, step by step, even when the ground beneath her felt uncertain. Her life didn't unfold in neat chapters. It was a collection of fragmented moments, episodes of fierce independence, wrenching separation, and quiet battles waged in the shadows. She drifted through people and places that sought to define her, yet she never truly belonged. The loneliness she carried was heavy, a constant companion few could see or really even understand. Still, beneath it all, there was fire. Not a blazing, loud flame, but a steady heat that kept her alive through the darkest times, a pulse of resilience that refused to be snuffed out. This episode isn't about what comes next, but about the weight she carried, the silent strength she wore, and the life she survived day by day and continues to survive to this day. You might look at her if you saw her out on the streets and think that you have her figured out. Just another old woman the world wore down. Someone hunched a little bit by time, with silver hair and caution in her step. But you'd be wrong. You're missing the most important part. See, she's not frail. Not really. What you're looking at is an armor. Weathered, maybe, but hard earned. And what you see is survival in its rawest form. She's lived through things most people couldn't stomach. And while the world tried to convince her she was weak, she built up her strength in silence. There's a certain type of woman you don't meet every day. Women who don't need to announce their pain or prove their worth. Women like Harriet, like Maya, like those nameless elders who carried whole generations on their backs without ever asking for recognition. She belongs to that lineage. And she doesn't wear it like a badge, but it's there, in her presence, in her patience, in her refusal to collapse. And let me be clear, this isn't some fairy tale. This isn't one of those polished, made-for-TV stories with a clean and shiny moral ending. No, this is grit. This is the story of someone who's still in the fight, even after the world counted her out more than once. I mentioned earlier how she moved through life like shadows, like something ancient and rooted. But to expand on that, she wasn't just surviving. She was enduring decades of abuse, silence, being overlooked, enduring sickness, loss, betrayal. But somehow she still found pieces of herself to give, to art, to love, even a piece of herself to me. There were days she couldn't stand, days she couldn't breathe without pain. Still, she cooked, she painted, and she listened. She loved people who didn't love her back. She stayed when she should have ran. And when it finally broke her, she still put herself back together. If you were lucky enough to catch her on one of those quiet moments, maybe with a paintbrush in her hand, or just staring out the window like she was watching some other world, you would have realized something that most people missed. She didn't turn her suffering into bitterness. She turned it into color, into form, into something that could speak without saying a word. That's what hits me the most. Not the trauma, though there is plenty of that. Not even the strength, though that's undeniable. It was the translation. The way she took everything meant to silence her and made it speak louder than any scream. Her art didn't come from a form of luxury or peace. It came from the fire, from the nights she spent curled in pain, whispering to herself that it would pass, from years of being told she was too much or not enough or just in the way. People look for heroes in capes. They miss the ones sitting quietly in the corner, sketching something nobody will ever see, or humming a melody too broken to record. But that's her, not a symbol or a stereotype. A human being, complex, messy, brilliant, and stubborn in the most beautiful way. When I finally realized the weight she had been carrying all of those years, it changed everything. I realized early into knowing her that she never asked to be seen. She never demanded to be understood. She just kept moving, even when it meant crawling some days. She kept loving, even when it left her bleeding. That's the kind of story that doesn't get told enough. But I'm here to tell you one on this channel. You deserve to know her because the world tried to erase her and it failed. Because even if nobody else gave her the recognition she deserves, I will. I hope as you walk with us through this journey, you begin to see her too. Not just as a victim, not as a cautionary tale, but as a force, quiet but undeniable, fragile but unbreakable, human and yet somehow more. So that's where I'll leave you for now. We'll pick things up next time. I'm Voidkeeper. This is Voidkeeper Adventures. Thank you for walking this path with us, taking the early steps into a story that's only just beginning. There's more to come, so stick around as we unveil the mystery of this journey together. And to everyone who's made it this far with us, thank you. It means more than you know.